Awesome. Cool. We're losing people, but that's fine. We're going to move on forward, folks. So now you've heard the foundation of what the Bridgewater Triangle is. We're going to tie off into Act 2. And in Act 2, we're going to talk about
Creature like that, how would it ever die?
And this monster starts running right at me.
Annihilated by nuclear bombs.
Beast is not dead. I put 4 bullets into him.
Oh, you're crazy.
But I saw that monster too. All I want is for someone to believe me.
Contaminated.
Face. It's horrible. Look like it would scare you to death.
All right, let's get to work.
people love to say that if ghosts are real, they only show up in old houses or to people who want to believe in them. But tonight, we're talking about people who don't need attention, don't need money, and don't need another story to stay relevant. Actors, musicians, celebrities with private security, massive homes, and every possible explanation available to them, except one they keep coming back to. Because again and again, across decades, across countries, across completely different belief systems, these people describe the same things. Footsteps in empty rooms, objects moving on their own, voices, shadows, and in some cases, something physical. Some of these stories are uncomfortable, some are strangely calm, and some raise questions nobody wants to ask out loud. If this isn't real, then why do so many people tell the same story? Tonight, we're counting down some of the most unsettling celebrity ghost encounters ever publicly shared. No legends, no secondhand stories, just what they said happened to them and what followed them home. Tonight on Beyond the Shadows podcast, we are discussing celebrity ghost stories. That's right, everybody. Celebrity ghost stories. We're doing it. We're going to do something a little different today. Admittedly, I've had a very busy week this week. And I struggled to put together a script that I felt 100% like super okay with. So decided last minute I was going to just throw some stuff together. Nothing too crazy. I did go down a little bit of a rabbit hole, kind of looking at, I was looking at like famous ghost stories, and a good number of them had tangents that tied in with celebrities. And the more I looked, the more I found more and more stories that came from celebrities that are pretty good. You know, admittedly, a lot of these stories are a little short, but hey, we're going to go over 18 of them tonight. 18. A little different tonight, but we're going to have some fun with it. I've had a shit work week, but you know what? We're going to try to unwind a little bit tonight and have some fun. So welcome, everybody. I'm your host, Victus, and this is Beyond the Shadows podcast, where we record a live podcast, one take, no edits, and try to figure out if that week's case is really paranormal or just bullshit. And tonight we are discussing the best of the best celebrity ghost stories. That's right. Celebrity Ghost Stories. Season 3, Episode 3. 303, everybody. Don't get confused with the pop group 303. Not 30H3. 303. So I hope everybody's doing well. Last week we had a lot of fun last week. I said we were going to do something ghost related, so here we are. We're going to do ghosties. I was really hoping to come up with something that, you know, I thumbed through like 4 or 5 really good ghost stories, but I struggled to be able to put together enough material to talk for 2 hours. So celebrity ghost stories seem to be a pretty logical segue. You know, we're not really getting into the nitty gritty, the super detailed aspects of it, but we're going to go through quite a few of them tonight. Like I said, we got 18 of them tonight, so I hope you guys like your celebrity ghost stories, because that's what we got in line tonight. I hope some people pop in. I hope we have a little bit of fun. Again, welcome everybody. Season 3, we're doing great. But before we get into tonight's case, let's take a look at what's happening this week in the world of the strange, the unexplained, and the downright unsettling. This is this week's news in paranormal. Silent lights reported over rural Arizona. Residents across several small towns reported fast-moving lights performing sharp turns and sudden stops in the night sky. No military exercises or registered aircraft were listed in the area at the time, and witnesses described them as controlled and completely silent. A paranormal team records direct responses in an abandoned hospital. An investigation group released audio allegedly captured during an overnight lockdown in a long-abandoned hospital. The recording appears to show whispered responses to direct questions asked aloud. Audio analysts say the timing suggests interaction rather than random noises. And shadow figures reported near historic battlefield. Multiple hikers have reported tall, dark figures moving between trees near a Civil War battlefield after sunset. The figures reportedly vanished, then approached and failed to appear on night vision equipment. Park officials say there's no evidence of trespassers or animals matching these descriptions. Homeowners claim activity began after installing indoor cameras. Several homeowners reported unexplained movement of objects shortly after installing indoor security cameras. Motion alerts triggered repeatedly in empty rooms with no visible cause. In more than one case, the activity stopped after the cameras were removed. And on the other side of the world, we have archaeologists report equipment failures near ancient burial sites. A research team paused excavation after repeated electronic malfunctions near an ancient burial ground. Batteries drained rapidly and data files became corrupted within specific radius of the dig site. The issues reportedly did not occur off-site. And residents reported knocking with no one present. Multiple households in a quiet suburban neighborhood in Chicago reported late-night knockings on doors and windows. When checked, no one was there. No movement was captured on doorbell cameras. The knocking reportedly stopped after several nights. I mean, it was just outside Chicago. You never know what's going on over there. Park rangers investigate disembodied voices in forest preserve. Forest rangers responded to after-hours noise complaint, reported hearing voices calling out from wooded areas with no visible source. Thermal imaging showed no people or animals nearby, and the area has since been temporarily closed at night. Historic theater reports apparitions seen by multiple staff. Staff at a historic theater in Oklahoma reported seeing the same shadowy figure backstage during rehearsals. Descriptions were consistent across witnesses, including clothing style and height, and these sightings reportedly stopped once the figure was acknowledged out loud. And drivers report time loss on isolated highway stretch. Several motorists reported losing between 10 and 30 minutes while driving on a remote highway at night. Dash cams show uninterrupted footage, but timestamps did not align with arrival times. No road closure delays were reported. And finally, nighttime drone footage captures unidentified moving heat signatures. A hobbyist drone operator recorded unusual heat signatures moving across an empty field late at night. The shapes appeared to be bipedal, but did not match any known wildlife patterns. The footage has since been submitted for independent analysis. And those are just a few of the stories making waves this week in the paranormal. And as always, we'll keep an eye on how those develop, and if they do, we'll talk about them here. Interesting about the highway, the motorist getting like missing time in a highway, because we just talked about that last week. The missing time thing, especially while you're driving, is really kind of a prevalent thing. It's happened to me several times. Worlds of confusion. Hello, welcome. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Welcome, friend. Welcome. Glad you're here, buddy. We just finished our week's news in paranormal. We are about to tie into the mystery segment of the night. How are you doing? How are you? I am well. But yeah, it is interesting that there's been an uptick of motorists reporting lost time on highways, especially after we talked about it last week. It can happen. 10 to 30 minutes, that sounds about right. I've lost some time about like that. But it is unusual that dash cam footage doesn't necessarily align with what's going on. I don't know what to say about that. That is weird. I need my little buffer here. Having a stress-filled night. Forgot to charge my camera, and I didn't think it was going to be charged
Not
enough.
too shabby, thanks. Managed to do a stream and finished Paint some birds on a jacket, so that was fun. I hope you're doing grand.
I am doing well, thank you very much. Very long work week, and I'm glad it is the weekend. Unfortunately, I got to go back to work in the morning, but it is what it is, man. Got to pay them bills. You know, I'm here. We're going to unwind a little bit tonight. We're doing something a little different. I'm going to double down on the beers tonight, and we're going to talk about celebrity ghost stories. We got a whole bunch of them. 18, if I think correctly. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So as we know, Dan Aykroyd is... No, first and foremost, Dan Aykroyd is the guy when it comes to celebrities and paranormal stuff, right? So I got on the phone with him this week, and I called. Yeah, it's gonna be a little different, but we're gonna have some fun. It's gonna be different. No acts this week, but we're just gonna run down this list and just try to have fun with it. I'm not sure how well this is gonna work, but we're gonna try. So I'm on the phone with Dan Aykroyd, right? I call him. I'm like, Dan, how's it going? Tell me about your show. He's got a couple shows on, Hulu, Amazon Prime, something like that. Some paranormal shows. I'm like, Dan, how's it going? And he got real quiet, and he leaned in. He leaned in real close to the phone, and he whispered something. I was like, Dan, I didn't hear you. And he whispered it again. I said, Dan, I didn't hear you. You gotta speak up. He cleared his throat one time, and you know what he said to me? What shirt are you wearing today? So yeah, he said, what shirt are you wearing today? No, I really didn't talk to Dan Aykroyd. I'm not that cool. But I am wearing a shirt today, so you're lucky there. Check this one out. This one's fun. This isn't the one I was planning on tonight, but it is a really cool one. Check this guy out. Respect the locals. It's hard to see, I know. Red on pink. Respect the locals with all manner of cryptids and spooky bits. Ghosts, UFOs, Bigfootses. I love this shirt. I get my wife a matching one, and we wear it regularly at the same time. Yes, we're that couple. We will wear the same shirt out in public. Respect the locals, people. Respect the locals. Yeah. Mothman is our unofficial mascot of the show because I do live in Virginia. And he loves it when we talk about him. We respect the locals around here. So, let's get a little bit of backfill. Some background music's going on here. I'm nervous. I'm nervous because I've never really strayed from the format of the show before. And if I do, I'm usually a bundle of nerves when it comes to doing it. But I really, really hope this is going to pan out well tonight. Oh, jeez. Chair. I need a new chair. Always need a new chair. I'm just hoping, I'm gonna get my fingers crossed, hoping that my camera stays on. It has 5% charge, and because I'm actively using it, it's not charging it. But I think as long as we're plugged in, we're good. And I really need to start pulling this camera at the end of the show and charging it over the week.
Just have fun with it, and I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah, that's the plan. Gonna do some drinks. We're gonna do some stories, some ghost stories. we're gonna do our best. We're gonna have fun with it. So no matter what happens, it's still gonna be a great show. This is what we do. No edits. One live recording. Maybe sometime in the future we'll be able to hire somebody to do editing on the podcast. But until then, you're stuck with this live, one take, no edit stuff. I think it's fine. It's nice, if you ask me, because nobody else does it. Everybody else just records whatever, and then they hire their intern to do their editing. Well, we're not going to be doing that. We have no interns here. I am the podcast. I do everything. Geez, it took me an hour to get everything going tonight. So many things. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 windows open. 3 streams running.
Yeah, it's more personal and chill.
Cool. That's kind of what I'm going for. I definitely wanted to have it more of a... I definitely didn't want like the polished vibe. I do listen to a lot of paranormal podcasts, and a lot of them are very polished. And it's like, I hate when they're in the middle of, like a real conversation about something, and then you hear a little click and an edit, and then you're like, well, what the hell were they saying before they cut it out? I get trying to manage within a time frame. I do it. Adjust your scripts, yo. It's not hard. But shit. I guess we're gonna get off into it. We have, let me see. I think we have 18 of these. Yeah, we've got 18. And I guess after each one, we'll just go through and say what we think about it. It's as simple as that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So if you got your drinks, crack them. I know I have. It's been a tough day. Last couple days have been tough, and today's the first day I got to sit down for several hours uninterrupted, and it was wonderful. And right about the time I got super comfortable, it was time to get up and get ready for the podcast. So some beers. We're gonna do some beers, and we're gonna have some fun with it. So let's move forward, everybody. All right, so celebrity ghost story number 1 is, of course, Keanu Reeves. Of course. And he's going to have a good ghost story. There's a couple of them in here that I was putting them together, and I wanted to read them, but I didn't, because some of these I really wanted to hear, like, what is their story, but I didn't want to know it immediately, because so 90% of these are live, genuine reaction here. I'm not sure on some of these. I don't know if they're going to be good. I don't know if they're going to be bad, but we're going to just roll with the punches. So when Keanu Reeves talks about ghosts, he doesn't smile. He doesn't lean into it. He doesn't try to make it entertaining. He tells you what happened. And as a child living in New York, Keanu was sitting in a room with his nanny. Nothing unusual. No storm outside, no strange mood, just a quiet moment in an ordinary apartment. The door opened, and from the doorway floated a jacket. Not tossed, not dragged, not falling from a hook. Floated. It moved slowly into the room upright, sleeves hanging naturally like it was being worn by someone you couldn't see. Keanu noticed it immediately, and his nanny noticed it immediately as well. Neither of them spoke, they just watched as it drifted forward, suspended in the air, unsupported. For a moment, the jacket hovered and then dropped straight down. No wind, no motion, just collapsed onto the floor like whatever was holding it up had vanished. Then his nanny screamed. Not a startled yell, not confusion. She panicked. She grabbed Keanu, left the apartment, and never returned. She quit shortly after and refused to explain why. And what makes this story unsettling isn't the visual. Although that alone is disturbing, it is the reaction of the adult in the room. The person who should have rationalized it, explained it away, calmed the situation. She didn't. And Reeves has told this story multiple times over the years, always the same way. Same details, same calm delivery, no added drama, no attempt to scare anyone, and when interviewers laugh or brush it off, he doesn't push back. He just lets the silence sit. Because the scariest part isn't the floating jacket. It's that two people saw the same impossible thing and one of them never came back. So I actually heard this one. A big fan of Keanu. I love dude. Dude is amazing. He's probably one of the most down-to-earth actors we've got out there. Dude's not a frills kind of guy. Sure he wears some, luxurious clothing and all that, but dude rides the subway. Dude walks the streets in New York and California. He how many times have we seen memes of him or images of him sitting on like a park bench waiting for a bus or eating ramen? How many pictures have we seen of him eating ramen? He's a normal guy. And dude's really chill, down to earth. Bless his heart. He's probably the best thing we've got going in the actors world. Probably one of the only people you could just approach and be like, "Hey, Keanu, hey, buddy, how's it going?" and dap him up a couple times and then split out. But yeah, this is a really interesting story. So this is something that you don't usually see, just one thing happening and then that's it. So like we said, the story goes that he was sitting there with his nanny and the jacket floated out of the closet like somebody was wearing it, and then it just dropped in the middle of the room. It's a very unique type of story because when it comes to like any type of physical, visible thing that a ghost can do, it's never straightforward like this. Like this is almost something you would see in the movies. Almost. Usually when it comes to things floating, we get stuff thrown across the room, or maybe something will slide across the table, but nothing really just floats out of a closet like that. So, seeing his reaction in interviews, unfortunately we're not going to be able to play any of these interviews because a lot of them are very heavily copyrighted. Seeing his reaction to people trying to laugh it off really seems like this was something that really happened. And judging by what I see and what I think I know about Keanu Reeves, I think this is a genuine case of something paranormal happening. So I'm going to give that a ding. I say, yeah, this is really paranormal. Way to go, Keanu. You got a great story, buddy. All right, celebrity ghost story number 2. And this one kind of surprised me. I didn't know. I didn't really know that. When you see like actors, actresses, musicians, performers, when you see them, you don't really think that there is much of a personal life. You think that it's all about what you see on TV. Excuse me, head sneeze. So the image you have in your mind is what you see like at a concert or in the movies. But like Keanu is a little bit more down to earth because you see a lot more of him outside of the movie theaters and stuff. This next one is Adele, of all people, right? All right, so this is ghost story number 2, Adele. At the height of her fame, Adele moved into an old countryside home in England. The kind of place people dream about. Isolated, quiet, beautiful, and historic. And almost immediately, something felt wrong. Adele didn't describe violent activity, no apparitions, no dramatic moments designed for headlines. What she described was worse, because it was constant. The house felt watched. Not occasionally, not only at night, but all the time. She said the atmosphere was heavy, like the air itself was pressing down. Rooms felt occupied even when empty. Silence felt loud in a way she couldn't explain. She refused to stay in the house alone, but this wasn't superstition. Adele openly admitted she didn't want to believe it was haunted, but every time she was by herself, the feeling intensified. Eventually, she hired security. Not because of fans or threats, but because she couldn't stand being alone inside the house. Even then, the presence didn't stop. And that's the detail people gloss over. She had company, she had protection, she had every possible comfort available to her, and she still left. She eventually moved out entirely, later admitting she loved the house, but whatever was inside it didn't feel natural. It felt aware. When someone with unlimited resources chooses abandonment over explanation, it raises a question. Was something there in the house trying to scare her? Oh, I missed a sentence. Or was something simply there long before she arrived? So yeah, that's... I can get with this, right? So that was Adele's story. Like I said, a lot of these are short. We're not like getting long strokes with any of these. I gathered as much of this information about these stories as I could and put them together as creatively as I could. So show of hands, how many people have ever been in a building they've never been in before, and the place just felt off, you know? I mean, I for one, I know I have. That is not uncommon when it comes to hauntings. And we're not explicitly saying this is hauntings, but, you know, maybe, you know, this could be something psychological where, you know, Adele could have spent so much time in the limelight that she was finally alone and she didn't know how to react to it. Like when you spend the day around all sorts of noise and very loud, when you get home and it's quiet, but the quiet is like pressing, like it's too quiet, so you have to turn on TV or make some noise or turn a fan on or something just to make some noise because it's too quiet. I get that. So maybe, just maybe, this is something psychological, like she's always around people, people are always taking her pictures, and she's finally in a place that's alone, and it doesn't feel right, right? But on the flip side of that, she eventually hired security. Security came in, and she still felt like she was being watched. So, what's really going on there? Hard to say. I don't know if I want to give this a yes or a no. It's really hard to put your finger on with such limited information about the case. I'm going to trust my gut and say that this is paranormal. Solely because she did have everything in her power to make herself feel safe and secure there, but she still felt uncomfortable, even after bringing security in. So I feel like there was something there, and after she left, it went away. Every good horror movie starts with an old house in the middle of the country, right? So, I mean, geez, I'm thinking of a movie. I cannot put my finger on it. What was that one where they moved from the town to a farm, and the farmhouse was horribly haunted, and it was messing with the kids? Jeez, I named off like 4 movies, 5 movies. I don't know. Same thing though. There's a reason that house was empty to begin with. I'm sure the people that sold it were very happy to get rid of it. But I couldn't imagine spending all that money. So I'm curious. You want to see if we can find the house? The Lock House. Oh Lord, that is a gorgeous home. Okay, hold on. Let me try to get an address so we could pull it up. Because I feel like we could probably pull this up on, like, Zillow or something and see what the, like, see pictures of it inside. You know what I mean? Oh, come on. I want the address. Give me the address. I know I'm losing y'all. I'm trying, y'all.
Yeah, like right move.
Absolutely, yeah.
No, I want to see the house.
Yeah, here we go. I got you now. So I was able to pull up a PDF. A PDF with of the house. This is the listing from the house. Yeah, oh gosh. Yeah, I can tell you already that motherfucker's on it. Oh, but it's stunning. Jeez. Oh my god, look at that floor plan. No, this is what the hell are you gonna do with all that space? Like this room. This room specifically, what are you gonna do with all this space right here?
Christ, that's huge.
Yeah. That's what she said. What are you gonna do with all this room? Was built around 1900. Was refurbished and extended in the 1930s. South-facing drawing room with a marble fireplace. Jeez, I see 3 fireplaces. I can't even tell you which one that is. What would you do with all? What could you do with all this space? I mean. Us streamers, gamers, we know what we're gonna do with these rooms, but, like, what, jeez. I couldn't even imagine. I would be... There's too much. That's just too much space. 19,763 square foot. That is 10 times the size of my house. Literally 10 times. We're just short of 2,000 square foot. Oh my gosh. It is lovely though. The updated partitions are just stunning. The bathroom. I wouldn't. Oh my gosh, the bathroom. But yeah, take one look at that room right here. With the wood paneling. 3 words for you. Haunted. Oh wait, 4 words. Haunted. Burn it down. Haunted. Burn it down. Move along. What is this? This one room has just a chair. Oh, there's a desk there. Okay, I didn't see the desk. Ah, jeez. I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know what to do with myself. That's too much room. Too much space for things. And a damn pool, of course. Oh, 2 pools, excuse me. Indoor and outdoor. It is a lovely home, though. Jesus. I see 5 bedrooms, 7 bedrooms. Ah, cadoodle-doo. Yeah, that's just too much. Too much. That's why it's haunted. All that space. and you're never going to have enough to fill it. That's exactly what it is. Spookus.
How MNAY square foot did you say?
19,743, I believe. A lot. A freaking lot. I mean, we could pretty well say it's 20,000 square foot.
Ha ha.
Yeah, that's that's a huge fucking house. I couldn't even imagine. Yeah, it's just rich people. I don't get it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If I ever become rich, there will. My setting's not going to change, right?
That 40x my flat.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so you're like in an apartment. You must be. Geez, so you're half the size I am, so you're... Yeah, I say half the size. My house isn't really that big. It's just... The room I'm in is technically a bedroom. It's only 2 bedrooms. And this used to be... So the house was built in the 1920s, early 1920s. And there used to be a wall right down the middle. Whoop, and if you split the house right down the middle, it's the same thing on both sides. So there was 1 bedroom and a kitchen downstairs, or 1 bedroom upstairs, and then you shared the kitchen and the bathroom downstairs. And then the other side was 1 bedroom upstairs, and you share the kitchen and bathroom downstairs. That's all it was. Now it's a living room and a kitchen downstairs, but it sounds luxurious, but I promise you it's not. This is a very old house, and it has lots of issues. But I've said it before, I'll say it again. If I become rich, this house is where I'm going to stay. Some nicer things are going in here, sure. New cars. This is my favorite thought experiment. I love this. I do this all the time. Hit the lottery. Get yourself $143 million. What are you going to do? Look, I'm going to work Monday morning, so nobody knows I hit the lottery. Right? A lot of people think, yeah, I'm just going to kick my feet up and relax. But you know what? I'm going to go to work, and then now I have fuck you money. Okay? So now if something happens at work and I don't like how it's going, now I've got a chance to say, fuck you, blow up and leave. Take all my tools and split, and it looks like I legitimately quit, like something really happened. Like I've got a reason to leave. Whereas, if you just leave, if you make $14 million, or $143 million, someone's gonna know something's up, right? But house is staying the same, couple new cars, gonna build a garage, probably... I mean, fix everything that's wrong with this house for sure, but I like where we're at. It's kind of a shitty neighborhood, but you know what? This is my house, and this is where I live, and I'm happy here. My 2 most recently passed pets are here, so they have their own spot in the yard, and I'm not leaving without them. And I don't really have the heart to dig them up right now, so... Lottery hits. This guy's staying right here. I'm going to be back here streaming Sunday, just like I am every week. No one's going to know. But there will be signs. I love it. That's my favorite thought experiment. Just think about it. Next time you're laying in bed, can't sleep, think about what you do with $150 million and how you would hide it. Because, you know, as soon as you start telling, you tell one person, then 50 people know. Those 50 people tell one person, then boom, half the town knows. You'd have to hide it. It's the only way you could do it. I, pay off my mom's house, pay off my mom's credit cards. Yeah. Throw $1 million in the checking account, put the rest into savings, live off the interest for the rest of my life. I'm very sensible when it comes to money, and I haven't always been, but I am now. All right, jerks, let's move on to celebrity ghost story number 3. Matthew McConaughey. So So when Matthew McConaughey describes his ghost experience, the most unsettling part isn't what happened. It's how little it bothered him. McConaughey claims that while living in one of his homes, he began noticing subtle disturbances, lights flickering without electrical explanation, footsteps moving through the house when he was alone, objects shifting just enough to notice, but never violently. What he didn't feel was fear. Instead, he felt presence. He began referring to the entity as Madame Bleu. Bleu? Blue? B-L-E-U. Blue? Madame Blue? Blow. Blow? No, that'd be an A. Well, we'll call her Madame Blue for this story. A name that came to him naturally, not theatrically. He never described seeing her clearly. There were no full apparitions, no screaming moments in the night, just a sense that someone else was there. Most people confronted with this kind of experience either panic or flee. However, McConaughey didn't do either. He spoke to it out loud and calmly. He acknowledged the presence as if it were a roommate, someone sharing their space rather than invading it. According to him, the activity never escalated. It never became aggressive, and eventually it faded entirely. No cleansing, no confrontation, no dramatic ending, just silence. The unsettling implication here isn't that his house was haunted, it's that recognition seems to be enough. If true, it suggests something rarely discussed in ghost lore, that not all hauntings are hostile, and not all spirits want attention. Some may simply want acknowledgement, and that possibility reframes the entire phenomenon. So right out of the gate, I'm going to say this is real. This is really paranormal. Because I know firsthand that just talking to the entity that's in your house, you treat them like a person. That's all they want. Usually, unless you have something very evil and malevolent there. But usually, if you just talk to it, I couldn't tell you how many times I've been on so many years ago, I used to do paranormal investigations. I was into ghost hunting. And we would go into people's homes and they would say, hey, this is what's happening. This will happen, this will move. We hear knocks or footsteps. And we're like, they'd be like, well, it doesn't bother me, but it scares my kids. So we would do our investigation, find the hot spots, be like, here's your hot spot. All right. And we would always tell them, just talk to them. All you've really got to do is, hey, chill out. I know you're here. You don't have to do all that. Please be respectful. This is my home. These are my kids, and you're scaring them. Be respectful, or we're going to have to take this to the next step. And a lot of times, that's all it takes. You just got to talk to them. I just said this to one of my coworkers the other day, because every Monday at work, inevitably everybody's like, "What did you talk about on the podcast over the weekend?" And when we talk about ghosts, I tell them about the ghost stories. And the last week, one of my coworkers was like, yeah, when I'm at home, I'll hear footsteps or I'll hear a knocking, and it's really strange, but it's really unnerving. I was like, dude, don't be scared of it, because your fear is going to feed it, right? But if you just talk to it, tell it to stop. A lot of times that's the fix you need. That it's spent so long just doing what it wants that all you got to do is put your foot down and say, hey, enough, all right? I get it. You're angry. You're upset. Head towards the light already, because this isn't your home anymore. It's mine. But if you're going to stay here, you need to cohabitate with me. And that's why I feel like this story is paranormal, because that's exactly what you need to do. You need to talk to it. Talk to it like it's a person, because in the end, that's what they used to be as a person. They're just stuck here a lot of times. They don't know to move on, right? So this sounds totally normal to me. I like that story. That was good, and it seems like a very Matthew McConaughey thing to do. Just to be like, all right, ghost lady, Madame Blow, hey, what's going on? I can't do impressions. I'm no good at them. That would have been a great spot to like hit the nail on the head with a good impression of Matthew McConaughey, but I just can't do it. What's up, people on YouTube? I see you guys lurking there. Welcome in, everybody. Chat is live. You're welcome to chat with me. Speech chat is active. Please be respectful if you're going to chat. But we're discussing celebrity ghost stories tonight. We made it to ghost stories, celebrity ghost story number 4, and we're going to talk about Lucy Liu. So this story is uncomfortable, and Lucy Liu has never tried to make it easier. While living alone, Liu claims she experienced what she described as, trigger warning here, folks, a physical sexual encounter with an unseen entity. She was wide awake, fully conscious, and aware of her surroundings. She has repeatedly emphasized that it was not a dream, not sleep paralysis, and not confusion. She describes sensations, contact, weight, and then it stopped. She didn't scream, she didn't flee, and she didn't call anyone. She processed it. What makes this story disturbing isn't the nature of the claim, it's how little she tried to explain it. Over the years, she was asked about it multiple times, and her answer never grows more elaborate. No added detail, no escalation, no attempt to shock. She simply states that it happened. In paranormal research, consistency like that matters. Fabricated stories tend to grow, memories blur, details multiply. Hers hasn't. Whether psychological, neurological, or something else entirely, the experience crossed the line most people don't want to acknowledge. But if it wasn't imagination, then it suggests that whatever these entities are, they're capable of interaction far beyond footsteps and shadows. So yeah, that's I'm gonna out the gate say this is real. I'm gonna give it a ding. Mainly because that is such a personal interaction with something that if it was fake, why tell it? You know what I mean? I'm certain that if we saw a video of her talking about it, she probably doesn't feel great about it, and I feel kind of sorry for her because this is a really strange thing. You know, some people might laugh about it. It is unfortunate, but it did happen, and I do feel like this is legitimately paranormal. There are cases that do fall under this umbrella. It does happen. They're very, very few and far between. A lot of times there are spirit interactions with people on like tours of old mansions or old boats, places where men were the majority of the people who were there when they were living. So like, what is that big ship that's, the big military ship that's moored in California? But people go and, geez, now I gotta look it up. Not the Salem, not the Hornet, not the Yorktown. It's a decommissioned military ship. Maybe it is the Hornet. Okay, well, either way, there's a military ship that's moored in California that everybody says is haunted. It's a decommissioned military ship, and here's why I bring that one up. Because if women go on the ghost tours, the most widely recorded instance of paranormal activity on those ships is they get their asses pinched or their hair pulled. It is overtly sexual because they're in a place that at the time of its peak, its apex, that this was a place that was dominated by men. And a woman coming through there would have, unfortunately, in the 1920s, that was a thing that men probably would have done. Times have changed, fortunately. this is a common thing. Women will go into places that are haunted, and when they were an active location dominated by men, there would be some type of sexual harassment. It does happen. And that's why I feel like Lucy Liu's story is true, because there is recorded instance of something like this happening. Moving on, check off the uncomfortable stuff.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Celebrity ghost story number 5, Goldie Hawn. Goldie Hawn has never described her experiences tied to a house. She described them as being tied to herself. Over the years, Hawn has claimed that no matter where she lived, unexplained activity followed. Different homes, different cities, different stages of her life, and yet the same sensations returned again and again. Objects would move slightly when she wasn't looking. Sounds would come from empty rooms, and there was a persistent feeling, one she struggled to put into words, that she wasn't fully alone, even in private moments. And what made it disturbing wasn't intensity, it was familiarity. She described a single, unidentifiable ghost, no face, no name, no story attached to a location, just a presence that felt consistent, almost routine, and that detail matters. Traditional hauntings are bound to geography, old houses, battlefields, historic sites. You leave and the activity ends. However, Goldie Hawn's didn't. Moving didn't stop it. Changing environments didn't stop it. Time didn't stop it. She didn't describe panic. She described unease, especially the feeling that privacy wasn't guaranteed, that there were moments when she felt observed, not aggressively, but persistently. If her experience is taken at face value, it doesn't describe a haunting. It describes an attachment, something that doesn't live in the walls, something that moves when you do. And attachments are far more unsettling than ghosts tied to a place, because they suggest the phenomena isn't about where you are. It's about who you are. All right. So, I feel, I'm giving these things my label of authenticity, but I'm going to give this the ding. Because we're looking at somebody's not really excuse me, I'm sneezing up a storm tonight. When it comes to paranormal investigations, what I like to do is, the first question I ask is, who's making money off of this, right? We're 5 stories in, and none of them have ever capitalized off of any of these stories. Generally, they keep these stories to themselves, and I feel like Goldie Hawn's story is a very impactful story, because this isn't something tied to a location. You can't just move away from the house to get away from it. No, this is what we're looking at here is almost textbook demonic possession, all right? When you think about hauntings, when you see residual hauntings, it's usually tied to a location. You see the same thing repeating over and over again. It's in a place. They'll float through a wall, but if you look at the floor plans of that building when it was first built, the spot where they float through the wall probably used to be a doorway. So it's a residual. It's a spiritual recording of something that had happened in that place. Poltergeist hauntings, you've got someone stuck there that's angry about it, and they're moving shit, throwing shit around the room. But when it comes to demonic possession, think of it as a backpack. It literally, I say it literally because literally paranormal investigators have used psychics that could quote-unquote see spirits, and they would see demons hanging on people's backs. And that's why I like to categorize demonic possession as something that is like a backpack. No matter what you do, where you go, it's always with you. It's always on your back, following you everywhere around. So, isn't Goldie Hawn's... Who are Goldie Hawn's parents? Doesn't she have famous parents? Maybe not. I don't know them. Who are her children? Kate Hudson. Wow. Didn't see that coming. Kate Hudson, Oliver Hudson, and Wyatt Russell. I don't know the other two, but I know Kate Hudson. Yeah, Kate Hudson looks just like Goldie Hawn. So now we're dealing with something that's kind of prevalent in Hollywood, especially old world Hollywood. You hear the old adage that I sold my soul to make it in the industry, and it makes you wonder with certain people if they really did. And that could, I mean, I'm grasping at straws, sure, but that could explain some things with old world Hollywood. While you saw so many early deaths with actors, they seem to go from a zero to one of the most important actors in Hollywood overnight almost, but then they die suddenly. Look at Paul Walker. Look at wait, what was that? What was that guy? Dean Martin? Was that Dean Martin? No, Dean Martin was in the Rat Pack. Yeah, Dean Martin was the backpack or Rat Pack. Who was the? Jeez, who was the guy, the famous actor that died in a car crash? Dean. Why do I keep saying Dean? James Dean. That's it. James Dean. Yeah, look at James Dean. So it kind of makes
James
you...
Dean.
Yeah, thank you. I had Dean. But it makes you wonder how people can go from a nobody, practically, unknown to, the whole world knows about this actress or actor overnight. How old was Marilyn Monroe when she died? 36. All right, so how old was she in her first movie? Oh, when she became famous. 27. She made it in 9 years. See what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that just makes you think. Makes you think. So now the big thing in Hollywood today now is not so much about the actors or actresses, but it's about musicians. Literally, how many times have you heard the words in a song, I sold my soul to make it? I can think of like 3 or 4 Eminem songs. Beyonce, Jay-Z. They're, all of the big ones. At one point in time or another in any of their songs, they've said that they sold their soul. And then you're seeing a lot of imagery with musicians, especially the big ones, that people are taking for satanic symbols. Don't get me started on Beyonce. We talked about her in season 1 when we talked about MK Ultra, and I am a firm believer that MK Ultra is a current and relevant program still being used within the government today, and they're using it to control whatever it takes to have the mind of the masses. And they got Britney Spears, they got Beyonce. I mean, I think Britney Spears was an early one, but they fucked her up bad. They fucked her up real bad. She literally had a breakdown, shaved her head, went crazy. People just don't have psychotic breaks like that. It takes something to push you to the edge before you can get to that point, right? And geez, if you don't know about the MK Ultra stuff with Beyonce, go down that rabbit hole, enjoy yourself, or go back to season 1 and listen to the MK Ultra episode. We watched videos of Beyonce with her MK Ultra programming kicked in, and she was just ghosted. She was out there. She was gone. Yeah, like, how does somebody like Beyonce win a country music award? Like, let me find out exactly what the award was. Oh yeah, they know exactly what I'm searching for. She literally won the best country album last year. Folks. Have you heard any of that album? What is the name of that album? Cowboy Carter. It is not good. It is not a country album. It's just, it reeks of MK Ultra to me. It really does. It really does. Feel free to shoot me down all you want. Let me know.
Sexy Lil Wanker has arrived.
Oh, Malibu's here, everybody. Whoa.
MK what?
A cootie queen, you lint liquor.
MK Ultra? You don't know about MK Ultra? I will gladly peel away for just a minute.
Moni.
I will gladly peel away and show you the MK Ultra video of Beyonce. Gladly.
Oh hell yeah, that shit's fucked. Nope, never heard of it.
What? Project MK Ultra. You need to go back and watch. All right, before I do that, let me shout
I
out.
might not want to know.
Let me shout out the podcast, my own podcast, right quick. I'm going to let you know exactly what episode it is so you can know where it is. That was definitely season 1. Season 1, episode 26, MK Ultra. We talked for 2.5 hours about MK Ultra. We watched nothing but MK Ultra videos. And let me put it in a nutshell. MK Ultra was a quote-unquote experimental program by the United States government where they were using mind control. Let me give you an exact definition of MK Ultra. So Project MK Ultra was a program of experiments on human subjects that was designed and undertaken by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency and which was sometimes illegal. Experiments were intended to identify and develop drugs and procedures to be used in interrogations and torture in order to weaken the individual to force confessions by way of psychological torture.
Was it the men who stare at goats thing?
Yes, yeah, they made that movie after making fun of MK Ultra. The project was organized through the Office of Scientific Intelligence at the CIA and was coordinated with the U.S. Army. The project was brought to public attention in 1975 by the Church Committee of the U.S. Senate and the Rockefeller Commission after research documents declassified in 2001 were discovered, which detailed the project and its goals.
I wouldn't mind staring at goats, RM.
So, goats are cool. So there is belief that there are trigger words. So, the big movie that came out after the concept of MK Ultra happened was The Manchurian Candidate, where they programmed a Russian spy to act like the perfect American, and he ended up infiltrating his way into politics.
Kill John Lennon.
Yeah, that's another tangent of MK Ultra. And he...
Viewersstreamloo.com.
What? Hold on.
Who are you calling a cootie queen?
Everybody,
you lint liquor?
boo this person. Boo committed material... they got a stupid fucking name. Anyway, boo this person because they're about to get banned. Ban this person. Boo you, bots. We don't want any cheap viewers. Get out of here. You've been banned, sir and or madam. Sorry about that. I get really upset about bots. So, traditionally speaking in MK Ultra, there is the concept...
Yeah, Prime viewers only.
Prime viewers only. We don't do with cheap viewers, only the free ones. And so the belief in MK Ultra is that there was a trigger word that you could say banana elephants dancing on the moon to a person that has been programmed through the project of MK Ultra, and it would set them into what is called a programming state. And while in the programming state, you could tell them what to do, and then you re-spoke the trigger word, And then they went on doing what you did and had no recollection of what you told them. This is what happened in the movie The Manchurian Candidate. The guy was trying to be president and he was trying to do the right thing, but really he was having his strings pulled by somebody else. But it was his mother.
I don't need a trigger word in perimenopausal.
In Manchurian Candidate, this guy's mom was like, would say the trigger word and then he would just stand there straight at attention and stare straight forward. She'd be like, you're going to do this and you're going to do this and this and this and then you're going to be the best president ever. And she'd say the trigger word again and he'd go, what happened? I lost myself for a second. And then it would be programmed in his brain that he had to do these things. So when it comes to Beyonce, there's this video where they were at a Nets game and Jay-Z says something to her, and just a hot second later she goes into a programming state, or at least this is what the conspiracy theorists say. So check this thing out. They're talking normal as can be, and then boom, she's in a programming state, and she stays this way for like she just sits there and like is just zoned the fuck out, rocking back and forth for, oh jeez, this is a horrible video. Ads.
Bro, that just looks like me autisming.
Yeah, so the story goes, he says a trigger word, she goes into the programming state, and she just sits there.
How stupid.
On autopilot. And she stays this way for like 2 or 3 minutes, just on autopilot. MK Ultra's crazy, yo. All right, I'll show you my favorite. Let me find it. I should just pull up my own video. So, in this,
she's probably bored and writing a new song about how boring sports are.
yeah, probably. She's in the middle of forming a country album. That's what it was.
Facts.
So, this one, my belief is the word Holy Ghost in this video is Al Roker's programming state word. And they say Holy Ghost, and as soon as he says it, he goes into his programming state.
Or trying not to strangle her husband.
That's it. So check this. This is one of my favorites. I love this video.
That's exactly how you have to have a certain amount of distance between the bodies.
Exactly.
You're high.
Yes, like they say in Catholic school, leave room for the Holy Ghost. Anyway, there is a lot of memories today, actually. It's a big day in music history.
He just sits there. Look at this guy. Look at him. He's gone. He's gone. Completely gone. That man is gone. That man is gone. Yeah, they got him good. So it makes sense if you think about it, right? So MK Ultra has its roots in anything pop culture, right? So if you can control the media and pop culture, you've got everybody. You've got everybody. And you know, at the time, Al Roker was one of the biggest in the media.
Ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
I've always wondered what Showbiz refers to as it when they say you don't got it, but I'm starting to think it means you don't seem programmable.
You know, Monty, I'm starting to get on the same wavelength as you. You are all right with me. Or else you get on a bandwagon, the government's lying to you. You're being programmed to not accept it. That's all it is. We're getting off on a tangent. We're only on number 6. We've got 12 more of these to rip through. geez, awesome. Yeah, cool. This is actually how I wanted this episode to go, because it's a little more organic.
So many talented artists are being ignored and talentless fucks are making it big.
Yeah, like, geez, there's a meme that I see it, and it drives me crazy, because if y'all know me from before the podcast, you knew me back when I was painting, and you've seen my art, and everybody I talked to was like, your art is amazing, it's incredible. And I see these memes where let me see if I can find it. It's like this pretty girl standing next to like a shitty photoshopped image, and she's got like 4 million likes, and then like the quiet nerdy girl next to her has this beautiful photorealistic portrait that she spent 5 hours on and has got 3 likes. It drives me crazy. It was very, very frustrating to me when I was an artist, because I just couldn't. Oh, here we go. Yep, this is it. This shit killed me every time I saw it, because I worked my ass off on my art. I work my ass off on this podcast. We're doing single-digit views every week, but I don't care. I do this because I love it. But media consumption, or social media consumption, is fucking ridiculous and askew. All they care about are boobs and pretty faces. They don't care about what people put into their work. And it's the people that are passionate about the things they do don't get the recognition, whereas the pretty faces, they get everything. This shit hurts me every time I see it. This shit. Because I was an artist. I was a full-blown artist for many years, and I said that for many, many years. And this meme killed me. This is what really made me think I need to quit painting, because it's just not working. And you know, unfortunately, I did quit painting, and now I podcast. But on the flip side of that coin, I did find out that, you know, I'm podcasting for the right reason now. I was painting for the wrong reason then. But it's in the past. It's gone. It's gone. Well, let's move on to Celebrity Ghost Story number 6, everybody. Kesha. A round of applause.
Interestingly enough, the VCHAOS of me on TikTok, where my tits are noticeable, perform worse than when I go full mask. I don't know.
If I had boobs, they'd be out. I don't know. Probably check some boxes to do with boobs. I'd considered trying to get a female co-host to see if that would help with views, but I'm like, you know what? I'm doing that for the wrong reason. I do this because I love it. The paranormal shit is what I'm all about. I'm a paranormal guy. I've been this way since I was 8 years old. Sitting in my backyard listening to Coast AM on my radio. This is what I'm all about. I love it, and I will continue to do it. We're into season 3. We're about to hit our full... Well,
if you do want to co-host, I'm so down.
I'm not going to pass it up. Don't tempt me. Logistically speaking, the connecting the video and shit is a fucking nightmare, and it's 100 times easier with one person.
Love this shit.
But you know what? We might could work something out. Maybe I could bring you on as a guest host one of these episodes. Maybe so. We'll see. We'll see. You never know.
Yeah, Discord might be easiest.
Yeah, the problem I ran into back when I had 2, it was me and Aeon doing the show back in season 1, was I was having to pump my mic and my video into Discord, and then he would need to see my live mic and video, and then I would need to capture his mic and video, and I'm already doing 2, 4, 5, 6 windows open between 3 monitors right now. It is so much easier with one person, but it is doable. Monty, I'm not saying no. I'm just
I'm
saying
happy to not be on video.
it's whatever. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I'm cool with it. We can come up with something. You could be our guest host every now and again. We'll come up with something. Yeah. Yeah. We'll come up with something.
I just FKN hate typing lol.
I gotcha. Yeah, I'm the same way. And I'm a very visual talker. So when I first started doing the podcast, it was all audio. And I didn't feel like it was passionate enough. Like, you couldn't really see that I was vibing with it, so I didn't. But as soon as I found out that I could do video and still upload the video to, like, Spotify and shit, it worked. Because I feel like this is working. Even if people don't watch the video, they're still listening. So, hey, thanks, everybody.
Body language is important.
It really is. It really is. Well, let's dive off into the next celebrity ghost story, number 6, Kesha. Kesha. Yeah, everybody knows
I love
Kesha.
her, but all I do is say, that's bullshit.
Well, that's the thing about having multiple hosts, is you need to balance it. It needs to be... So
I
that,
don't believe in any of this stuff, but I still love it.
no, it's cool. That's what worked out with Aeon when he was here. Was Aeon was the very skeptical of the bunch, and we would spend 2 hours talking about something, and he would be like, well, sure, it looks like a UFO in that video, but I've been to some raves where they have some weird shit floating in the sky over the crowd, and that kind of, and then boom, there goes my 2-hour investigation. And it was nice having him here. It really was. I miss my dude. He might be back. I'm not sure when. He's still dealing with some personal stuff, but for now, we're just going to roll with this. But Monty, we'll probably bring you on as a special guest every now and again. That would be okay. All right, so let's tie into Kesha. We got Kesha now. So when Kesha talks about ghosts, she doesn't hedge. She doesn't laugh it off. She doesn't say maybe. She says it happened. And Kesha has openly claimed that she had sexual encounters with a ghost, describing them as consensual, physical, and reoccurring. She discussed it in interviews on radio shows and even tied the experience directly to her music.
I'd listen to Moni with joy.
Okay, well, maybe I do need to bring Moni on. Okay. According to her, the encounters didn't feel imaginary. They weren't dreams or hallucinations. They had physical sensation, emotional weight, and continuity. Something that returned, not something that had happened once and vanished. And at one point, she said the experiences were meaningful enough that she wrote a song inspired by one of them. What's disturbing isn't the claim itself, it's the consistency. She never walked it back, she never reframed it as a metaphor, never softened the language, and she's fully aware of how it sounds, which raises a question that keeps popping up in these stories.
I don't know if it's ghosts, but I've experienced this too.
This is a consistent theme. So, I don't know, I don't guess you were here. We talked about Lucy Liu had the same kind of experience. So that's 2 now, plus you, Monty, that has experienced something. Monty, you need to type that up. Well, I guess you need to. I guess we'll save that for when you do your special guest hosting. But this has popped up a couple times already, and we're only 6 stories deep. This is not an unheard of thing. Not entirely. There are... You gotta think of... When people...
I often don't like talking about paranormal experiences because I'm seen as crazy.
You kidding me? I just talked about how the government's programming Beyonce and... and El Roker. There's no such thing as crazy on this show.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
No such thing as crazy on this show. I don't have my aluminum foil hat anymore. It was effectively destroyed by my cat. But no such thing as crazy. But this isn't an unheard of thing. Let me give you this. When it comes to people having...
Crazy is all good.
Crazy is good. When people are having so many sexual experiences with ghosts that it gets parodied in a comedy movie about ghosts, that says something. Think about that movie, Scary Movie? Is that the movie? It's Scary Movie 1 or 2.
Yeah, as long as you don't J-dubbed in and have the cops called on you for a wellness check.
Right. Yeah, so it was parodied in 2011 in Scary Movie 2. So it has happened enough that people have reported having sexual experiences with ghosts that it got parodied in a major movie in 2011. So that says something. So I'm going to say that Kesha's story is true. However, I'm on the fence. Because Kesha seems like just the right amount of... I know I just said we don't say crazy on the show, but she seems like the right amount of crazy to just make something up like this. Maybe. I'm not sure. All right, celebrity ghost story number 7. Everybody's favorite, Nick Cage.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
So when Nicolas Cage bought a historic mansion in New Orleans, he knew it came with a reputation. The city is old, layered with heavy history. But Cage claims the house wasn't just historic, it was active. He reported seeing shadow figures, hearing sounds that didn't belong to the house, and feeling a presence that became stronger the longer he stayed there. According to Cage, the energy didn't feel playful or curious. It felt oppressive. But eventually he moved out. But here's the detail that doesn't sit right. He claimed the activity didn't stop immediately. For a short time after leaving the house, Cage reported the same sensations, unease, shadow movement, and the sensation that something had followed him. Only after a period of time did it fade. If the house was haunted, leaving it should have ended it. Unless it wasn't the house. So I went down a rabbit hole about Nick Cage recently. He's got a whole slew of paranormal shit going on with him. He ended up, like, meeting up with a freaking voodoo queen down in New Orleans. And have any of you seen his funeral plot in New Orleans?
No.
Get ready for this. Look at this mess. He paid like $1.2 million for this to be erected in the center of a New Orleans cemetery, right next to one of the greatest voodoo queens in New Orleans. And he's not even dead yet. His headstone here reads,
Sick.
Omnia ab uno. Let's see what that means. Omnia ab uno. Everything from one. Often associated with the mysterious pyramid tomb actor Nicolas Cage, built for himself in New Orleans, symbolizing unity or a single origin, though its deeper meaning remains speculative, linked to mysticism or ancient concepts like the Emerald Tablet idea of all things coming from one source. This dude, he had a whole, like, spiritual movement happen. He bought a house in New Orleans. It was haunted. And while he was there, he was trying to write, like, the next great horror movie. And whatever happened in this house scared him off so bad that he went and seen some great New Orleans psychic and voodoo priestess. And, you know, within a year, he bought this funeral plot and erected his own headstone. He's out there. He's got some mommy issues. For sure. Nothing wrong with mommy issues. All right, celebrity ghost story number 8. Dan Aykroyd. Of course.
Don't we all?
Right? Nothing wrong with mommy issues. I like my mommy issues. So Dan Aykroyd is inevitably going to be in this list. Dan Aykroyd is the crown king of paranormal. He wasn't just one of the main characters of the original Ghostbusters. He is an active paranormal investigator, and he loves this shit. He's all about it. He was one of the greatest contributor to one of the more recent Indiana Jones movies about the Crystal Skulls. He loves the idea, the concept behind the Crystal Skulls. That would be a great episode of the podcast, the Crystal Skulls. You know what? I think I just figured out what we're going to do next week. I'm putting that down. Done.
Vodka.
Vodka, yes. So he has his own vodka company, Crystal Skull Vodka. And I've got a Crystal Skull vodka bottle downstairs. It's in my collection of collections. But also, he did a limited run. The year I turned 35, he did a limited run of Alien Head vodka, and it's back here in my uranium glass case. I would pull it out, but it is behind a bunch of precariously stacked pieces of uranium glass. So in this cabinet right here in the back, right about here, there's an Alien Head bottle. But I love Dan Aykroyd. He's great. He does his own shit. He doesn't care what anybody thinks about it. Check out his show on Amazon Prime. Awesome little show. So Dan Aykroyd isn't a casual believer. He comes from a family deep involved in spiritualism, seances, mediumship, paranormal research, and while writing Ghostbusters, he claimed the paranormal responded. Aykroyd has said that while working late nights on the script, strange things began happening in his home. Phone lines cut out mid-call, doors slammed, objects shifted. At one point, he said a full-body apparition appeared in his home, clear enough to startle him out of his chair. And what unsettles people isn't that he believes, it's that the activity allegedly coincided with the subject matter, almost if drawing attention to ghosts drew attention back. Aykroyd has never claimed fear, but he has also never claimed coincidence. Love Dan Aykroyd. Of course he was going to be on this list. Of course. All right. Celebrity ghost story number 9. I don't know how you are going to feel about this one, but it's Miley Cyrus. Okay, here we go. So while filming overseas, Miley Cyrus lived in an apartment in London that she insisted was haunted.
Of course.
Right? She described a young boy spirit, one she believed died in the building years earlier. Water turned on by itself, objects moved, doors opened, but what stuck with her was the bathroom. Yeah, of course it did. She refused to shower alone. Of course she did. She claimed the presence felt strongest there and that the energy shifted when she entered the room, like she was interrupting something. And eventually she moved out, and years later she still talks about it. No joke, no wink, just certainty. All right. I'm going to give this one a no. I don't think this one's really paranormal. I think this is Miley Cyrus being Miley Cyrus, looking for more attention. That's all it is. And crucify me if you must, but I just don't think I don't think it's a real story. I bet if we looked up the year that she reported that story, she probably was having a slump, and she was looking for more attention. That's how I feel about it. Celebrity ghost story number 10. Everybody's favorite Trekkie, Patrick Stewart. During a theatrical production in England, Patrick Stewart experienced something that stayed with him long after the performance ended. Stewart described encountering what he believed was the ghost of a World War II pilot. This wasn't a shadow at the edge of his vision, it wasn't a vague sensation, it was a clear figure, distinct enough to feel emotionally present. And what unsettled Stewart wasn't fear, it was recognition. He described the moment as heavy, solemn, and deeply sad, as if the figure carried the weight of unfinished history. The encounter didn't feel threatening, it felt misplaced, like something from another time, briefly intersecting with the present. Afterward, Stewart learned that the location had historical ties to wartime aviation deaths, information he hadn't known before the encounter. And the timing matters because it removes expectation from the equation. The figure appeared once, it didn't repeat, and it didn't escalate, and then it was gone, which raises an uncomfortable possibility. What if some apparitions aren't hauntings in the traditional sense? What if they're echoes, moments of memory or identity that surface briefly and then disappear forever? So that's cool. I can appreciate that. I'm a Patrick Stewart fan. This is a Patrick Stewart household. I'm about to start watching The Next Generation over again. That's a cool one. I'm going to say that one's real. Because in my heart of hearts, I know that Patrick Stewart wouldn't lie about that. And that's the God's honest truth. Patrick Stewart wouldn't lie. No, he doesn't lie. Why would he need to lie? All right, folks, well, let me go use the bathroom real quick. Don't go anywhere. We've got 11 through 18 left. We're getting close to the end. Next up is somebody you weren't quite expecting on this list. Don't go anywhere. Please don't go anywhere, because I hate talking to myself. Cool. Here we go, folks. Be right back. I didn't expect that. I really did. Awesome. Cool. We're losing people, but that's fine. We're going to move on forward, folks. So now you've heard the foundation of what the Bridgewater Triangle is. We're going to tie off into Act 2. And in Act 2, we're going to talk about some of the things that have been reported in the Bridgewater Triangle. All right? We're moving on to Act 2, everybody. Act 2. So not all creatures are described as living, and on Route 44 near Rehoboth, one of the most enduring legends is the Phantom Hitchhiker. Dozens of drivers have claimed to have seen a man with long red hair and a plaid shirt standing by the roadside, thumb extended. Those who stopped said that the man vanished when they looked away. Others who didn't stop later reported seeing him suddenly appear in their backseat mirror before disappearing again. Researchers have proposed several natural explanations for the creature sightings. The black dogs might have roots in European folklore brought by colonialists, the hellhound archetype, which then merged with local superstition, and the phantom cats might be psychological projections spurred by isolation and fear in the dense woods. The Freetown Fall River State Forest has long been considered one of the Triangle's most active zones for creature sightings. One ranger, interviewed anonymously for the Bridgewater Triangle documentary in 2013 stated, "You can stand in the forest and hear something large moving parallel to you." Photographers have reported catching red or orange eye shine in the dark at heights suggesting something tall, but when approached, the glow vanishes. One of the most interesting features of Bridgewater's cryptid reports is consistency. But the image had, like, it was obviously a pterodactyl, but it was laying on the ground in front of the men, and they were like posted up like they shot it. How do you spell pterodactyl? P-T... Fake pregnancy test? What? P-T. Pterodactyl. But this feels more believable to me than the other picture does, because at least this has signs of wear and tear, whereas the other one looks like it's straight out of Sora, but... But yeah, it's a... When we talk about Thunderbird, this is the predominant description of the Thunderbird, is it looks like a pterodactyl, or it looks like Zapdos, or it looks like a phoenix. Hold on, let me talk about it. All right, so over the following weeks, residences of Easton and Taunton reported seeing the same creature gliding silently over fields. Some described it as an enormous vulture, others as something closer to a pterodactyl. Skeptics suggest a large heron or eagle, but the consistency of reports and the credibility of witnesses kept the mystery alive. Coleman cataloged over a dozen Thunderbird sightings between 1971 and 1980 in the same region. In Mysterious America, he wrote, "What we have is not isolated delusion, but repeated encounters by credible observers." All right, on to the next one. Black dogs and phantom cats. The Bridgewater Triangle's animal legends aren't limited to ape-like creatures and birds. There's another motif, black dogs and phantom cats that appear suddenly and vanish. Although Massachusetts officially has no native cougar population, I don't know, cougars. One police report from 1993 filed by Officer Ronald Pine described a large feline shadowing the patrol car at roughly 25... Oh my gosh, I'm back. Sorry about that, gentlemen. You had to kiss the wife, pet the puppy, use the bathroom. It happens. Welcome back. We are...
Ads.
Oh, geez. Okay, we'll wait. Well, we can wait. Just let us know.
Let us know when ads are done, please.
So the snow has started here. Jeez Louise, here comes the snow. They've been talking about it all week. Good golly, Miss Molly, it's going to make a messy work week for me. Snow, snow, snow. Look at all our snow. It's coming down. The little car's already covered in white. The same could be said about Kim Kardashian. Awesome. We're gonna hold position for just a minute until ads are done with. I used to have something up here that would tell me when ads were coming. I don't know what happened to them.
Done.
Fantastic. I'm going to try to bring up the creator dashboard on Twitch so I can see when ads are coming. All right. Cool. So that should work. At least be able to see when ads are coming. A little bit anyway. Alright, so Celebrity Ghost Story number 11 is... You guessed it. Ariana Grande. The only thing spooky about her is how she's looking like Skeletor these days. Yeah, I'm sorry, that whatever shit she's taking to lose weight isn't working. It's making her look worse. Stop that shit, girl.
Yeah, right.
Alright, so when Ariana Grande talks about ghosts, she doesn't mean playful
All of Hollywood
spirits.
looks like that now.
I know, right? It's it's like, I mean, I guess I understand like losing I wouldn't mind like losing like 20 pounds or so, but at what point do you know when to stop? But jeez. It's bad. It's really bad. And it you know, I really enjoyed it when Wicked came out because I was a fan of the musical. I'm an Idina Menzel fan, and I will be until I die. And I loved the musical. I didn't love it, but I liked how the movie did. It was good enough. It should have been Idina Menzel, whatever. But it just got worse and worse. Like, there's some horrible photos of Ariana Grande and what's her
I
face.
played a munchkin in first grade.
Oh, did you really? In Wicked. That's cool. Yeah, I'm a musical fan. I like musicals. I always have. I always will.
In Wiz.
Oh, Wiz, cool. Yeah.
Of Oz.
Oh, Wizard of Oz. Yeah. I forget that Wizard of Oz was actually a musical. But yeah, there's like so many like horrible photos of Ariana Grande and what's her face, the African American chick. They're both just so spindly and Skeletor looking that there's no flattering photos of them anymore.
So
like,
was The Wiz.
yes, The Wiz was a musical. That was the one with Michael Jackson, right? Pretty sure.
Their interviews are creepy.
Yeah, they're.
From that movie with Jackson and Ross.
Yeah. Yeah, there's very few like photos or videos of them as a group.
We did The Wiz at school.
We did Guys and Dolls, and I had I think I ended up being like a technical director doing lighting or something. Ironically, I had really bad social anxiety growing up that I didn't want to be on stage, so I was like, what can I do that no one will see me? They're like, well, we need a lighting guy. I was like, I'm your guy. But, I mean, technically I was in the credits for Guys and Dolls, but no, not for me. Now it's fine, but back in high school, my social anxiety was just destroyed me. It destroyed me. But anyway, let's get into the story about Ariana Grande. So when Ariana Grande talks about ghosts, she doesn't mean playful spirits or spooky vibes. She means something darker. Ariana has said that after visiting historic cemeteries, particularly ones connected to violent deaths, she experienced what she believes were demonic entities. She described the air changing, becoming thick, heavy, and charged. But the detail that unnerves most people wasn't visual, it was the smell. She claims the scent of sulfur filled the air, sudden, overwhelming, and impossible to ignore. A smell traditionally associated across cultures and centuries with something far more sinister than ghosts. She said the energy felt aggressive, hostile, like whatever what was presenting.
That's just my farts.
Hey, yeah, you got it. You're right on point. She claimed, like whatever what was presented didn't want her there and made that clear. After one encounter, she claimed her car malfunctioned repeatedly. Lights flickered, and the feeling followed her
You beat me to it.
away from the location. Yeah, there you go. I'm glad we're all on the same page here. After one encounter, she claimed her car malfunctioned, and the feeling followed her away from the location. I don't have a fart sound. I think I started off with the soundboard having a fart sound, but it moved away.
Who are you calling a cootie queen, you lint liquor?
She later said that she refuses to visit places like that now, not because she's afraid of
Like a
ghosts, but because she believes some doors shouldn't be opened. Whether interpreted as spiritual, psychological, or symbolic, her experiences carry the same warning heard in countless folklore traditions. Some things don't want to be acknowledged, and some things respond when you do. Yeah. I want to say that this one's real. I do. But do we
Maybe.
really think this is real? I mean, maybe it was
6-7 haha.
6-7. Oh my god, I did that on stream. Anyway, don't clip that, please. I don't think this is real. I don't think this is really paranormal. I think this is her grasping at clicks and likes. So no, I'm gonna say this isn't real. I'm sorry. I don't think it's real. I really don't.
My boxing instructor does it when I have that number of reps left.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, so there's a video of kids at like Disneyland or Universal Studios or something over the holidays, where they would go up to the Grinch and they do the 6-7 thing, and he had the perfect reaction to the 6-7 thing. Let me find it. Let me find it. It was funny. I will share this with all of you. Nope, full screen's not going to work. The best reaction to anybody saying 6-7 to you. Here you go. You ready?
8, 9. Eight, 9.
There you go. Take that one. There's your freebie for the week. 8-9. 8-9. 8-9. All right, celebrity ghost story number 12. Ryan Gosling.
WTF is 6-7.
I really... Okay, so I'm going to do my best to interpret this. The way I understand it, I could be wrong. Someone's going to see this that's much younger than us here in the stream tonight, and just going to shake their head, I'm sure. But the way I understand it is the...
I thought it was on a scale of 1 to 10.
So you remember back when we did the "What's up?"
What's up? What's up?
You remember that? You remember doing that on the phone? Doing that at school? Doing it with everybody?
What's up? What's up?
I still do it.
Yo, Duque, pick up the phone. Yo, what's up?
So from what I understand, that face. From what I understand, it is the current generation of that. Just the same thing, just a different set of words. It's not "what's up" anymore. It's 6-7. That's all. It's my best interpretation I've got. I'm sorry. I'm sure I'm gonna get slammed in chat about that one later once this stuff posts to Spotify. But that's the best I can give you. It's the new version of "what's up."
Okay, I'm gonna build a porch and buy a chair.
Yeah, I know how you feel.
I'm out.
Yep. I need that audio clip. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Yeah, it's we're finally to that age in our existence where we're the older generation putting our heads in our hands and shaking our heads at I don't understand. I just don't understand. What are they doing? Kids these days, I don't get it. Yeah, it's, yeah. Try as you might, you're never gonna stay hip. Jeez. Well, let's move on to Celebrity Ghost Story number 12. Ryan Gosling, everybody. Ryan Gosling. Let's get a round of applause for Ryan Gosling.
Woo.
So for Ryan Gosling, the haunting wasn't frightening. It was oddly social. While living
It
in...
barely stays hip.
right? Yeah, it's... Oh, they'll poke your eyes out. Poke your eyes out here, everybody. How's it going, buddy?
I just got back from the revolving sushi.
Ooh, I always wanted to do that. Always. I just... There's nothing here nearby that does that. It's... My closest one is like 2 hours away. And that's a long trip for sushi.
Like a sushi train.
Yeah, something similar. Nope, go back.
Also got your email. I have a few things that might just be the ticket.
Awesome. Good to know. I appreciate you sounding off on me. I'm trying to find a video of revolving sushi. Ads. I cannot afford to skip ads on YouTube, people. Here we go. Oh, that looks delicious. Oh. I'm not jealous, you're jealous. Ooh. Oh yeah, that looks amazing. I'm so hungry now. I'm so hungry. Revolving sushi, how was it? And also, yes, I'm glad you're here. Glad you got my email. Do you hear what's going on in the background now? This is what I usually run with. So, anything along this vein is totally fine with me. If you come up with something awesome, I will give you credits. I can't afford to pay you, but, hey man, anything's a help. I play the same audio every week, so it'd be nice to play something different.
Great.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. I love when people get good sushi in their life. I think we have an ad coming up soon. I think we do. So if anybody catches an ad, just holler it out, and we'll take a quick minute 30-second break so everybody can hear the ghost stories. Let's go ahead and get into Ryan Gosling ghost story here. While living in Los Angeles, Gosling claimed his house was shared with a ghost he referred to as Larry. Lights turned on by themselves, doors opened, objects moved subtly but consistently. And what makes his story unusual is that other people experienced it too. Friends staying over reported the same activity, the same presence, the same
When
unexplained...
will you turn into a fully grown goose?
Yeah. No, that's good. That's really good. It's really good. Yeah, Gosling, I get it. That was really good. I don't know. If he hasn't yet, I don't think he will. Friends staying over reported the same activity, the same presence, the same unexplained movements, and it became normal. Larry didn't feel threatening, didn't feel angry, just present. And then one day, the activity stopped. No explanation, no farewell, no final event. Larry was just gone. If this was imagination, why did it end so abruptly? And if it wasn't, Why do some hauntings feel temporary, like someone passing through? Interesting. We don't hear a lot about temporary hauntings like that. We hear more about hauntings that last for a good long while. So this is kind of unique. I'm going to give this a green light. I'm going to say this one's real because he had guests stay at his house and they also saw the same thing. So, I mean, more than one person can corroborate your story, then it's true. Right? Right? All right, ghost story number 13, Emma Stone. Let me get a drink before we do this. Yeah, right. Emma Stone doesn't describe her ghost story with fear, she describes it with certainty. Stone believes the ghost of her grandfather visits her. She said that the objects in her home move without explanation, keys shifting location, items appear where she knows she didn't leave them, and instead of panic, she feels comfort. She believes it's him checking in, letting her know that he's still there. She's acknowledged how irrational that sounds, especially how people who don't believe in anything beyond the physical world, but she's never softened the claim. She doesn't say maybe, she doesn't say she knows, but what makes this unsettling isn't the activity itself. Moving objects are common in ghost stories.
I can do a few different things. I send you a few 5 minutes clips of things. 5 minutes long sounds good to loop.
Yeah, 5 minutes is perfectly fine. The software I use for for my soundboard is what I'm using for the background sounds. Has an integrated looping feature, so as long as it sounds the same at the beginning as it does at the end, it can loop pretty easily. Even if it's got a fade, it's totally fine. Don't kill yourself trying to make something. Just at your leisure. There's no rush. No rush at all. If true, it suggests that death doesn't always end connection. It transforms it. That identity, memory, and awareness may persist in some altered form. And not something distant, but something personal. Stone has said that she doesn't feel watched in a threatening way, but she does feel accompanied, like she's not entirely alone, even when she should be. And for many people, that idea is more disturbing than fear, because fear implies danger. That if someone can follow you from life to death, then death may not be the boundary we think it is. Ooh. All right, this next one's a short one, but it's going to be good. I know it. Celebrity ghost story number 14. The late great Prince. Long before his death, people close to Prince claimed his Paisley Park estate was active. Not rumors, not legends after the fact. Staff reported hearing voices when no one else was present, footsteps echoing through empty hallways, music and equipment activating without power. And Prince himself was deeply spiritual, but he never publicly leaned into paranormal claims, which is why the stories persisted quietly. Even his death, reports of strange activity intensified. Lights turning on, music playing, doors opening. Whether coincidence or continuation, the timing unsettled even skeptics. If places absorb energy, then Paisley Park absorbed a lot. I'm going to say this one's real. Because we didn't really hear about this one until after he died. So he wasn't trying to publicly throw it out there, right? I mean, it's Prince. It's Prince, right? Just like Patrick Stewart. I don't think Prince would lie about something like this. It's Prince. Come on. All right, we're getting close to the end here. We're at Celebrity Ghost Story number 15, Sylvester Stallone. So when Sylvester Stallone talks about ghosts, he talks about one moment, one image. He claims he saw a full-body apparition in his home. Not a shadow, not a movement, a full-blown figure. clear enough that he questioned his own sanity. Then others witnessed the activity too. Objects moving, sounds, confirmation that he wasn't alone in seeing something strange. Stallone has said that the experience stayed with him, not because it was terrifying, because it was undeniable. And sometimes that is worse. So again, I don't feel like Sylvester Stallone would have lied about something like this. And outside of doing research for this podcast, I don't remember hearing anything like in interviews or mentions in like social media. It never came up, so it was something I had to dig for to find. So it means he's not really trying to get any type of attention for it. So I think this one is really paranormal. We have quite a few of those tonight, everybody. And Celebrity Ghost Story number 16 is the crown princess of science fiction, the late great Carrie Fisher. So for Carrie Fisher, the idea of ghosts was never frightening, it was familiar. Fisher openly believed that the dead didn't always leave, that some people lingered, not out of malice, but habit. She talked about spirits the way that other people talk about old neighbors, present, occasionally annoying, and sometimes comforting. In her Hollywood films, Fisher claims she experienced unexplained activity, sounds, movements, the feeling of being accompanied when she was alone. She didn't try to cleanse the house, she didn't try to stop it, she accepted it. Friends who stayed over joked about it, but some admitted they felt it too. An atmosphere that felt occupied, even when the rooms were empty. Even after her death in 2016, the story took a darker turn. Friends and family members reported strange activity tied specifically to Carrie. Lights flickering in rooms associated with her. Objects connected to her shifting location. A sense, shared by more than one person, that she hadn't fully left. Whether coincidence, grief, or something else entirely, the reports carried an eerie consistency. Carrie Fisher once said she hoped to haunt people when she died, and that line stopped being funny after she did. I'm going to say this was true. I'm going to say this is really paranormal. Because she just seems so down to earth about it. Like she's doing the thing that Houdini did. So Houdini said that when he was if he died before his wife, that he and his wife had like a signal that they were going to send to each other. That, when I come back, I'm going to haunt you, but look for this signal to know that it's me. And that's how you know that somebody is passionate about what they believe in. And I feel like Carrie Fisher is really passionate about her spirituality and her concept of people staying behind after they died. And I feel like that made her more of a genuine person to hear a story like this and believe that what we're hearing is really true, right? So, I mean, it's Carrie Fisher. Carrie Fisher doesn't lie, right? Right? Yeah, Carrie Fisher doesn't lie. All right, we've come down to our last two. Celebrity Ghost Story number 17, Cher. So when Cher talks about ghosts, she talks about it about one person, Sonny Bono. After his death, Cher claimed strange things began happening in her home. Lights flickering on and off, objects moving slightly, the feeling of someone nearby, specifically him. She didn't describe fear, she described recognition. Cher felt it was personal, familiar, like a presence she knew well enough to identify without seeing it. She believed it was Sonny checking in. And what makes this story unsettling isn't whether you believe in ghosts, it's the emotional clarity with which she describes it. She didn't feel haunted, she felt visited. And if that distinction is real, it suggests something far more intimate than folklore ever allows. So I'm going to say this one's real. I'm going to say this is true. I'm going to say this is really paranormal. It's Cher. Cher, when you think about Cher, clean cut. I'm a vocalist, I'm a musician, I'm a performer. You don't ever hear anything about Cher and the paranormal. But when it did finally happen to her, it was her late husband checking in on her. And, you know, it feels wholesome. Why would anybody lie about that? Why? And we come down to our last one. Our very last celebrity ghost story. And this is one of my very favorite musicians. Before I get into this, I'm going to say it's Johnny Cash. And
For a laugh.
For a laugh. That's right.
Hey poke.
So I want to say I have such respect for Johnny Cash. And I have such respect for Trent Reznor. Oh, I got a sneeze coming. I can feel it. All right. So we all know the song Hurt. It was written by Trent Reznor. It was originally performed by Nine Inch Nails. I mean, I grew up, waist deep in the Downward Spiral. Nine Inch Nails was my jam. I was all about it. And it wasn't until years later that I heard Johnny Cash's version of Hurt. And this is where my respect for both musicians really comes forward. That in a later interview, Trent Reznor was quoted as saying,
At Worlds of Confusion, heyo.
Trent Reznor said that the song Hurt isn't mine anymore. It belongs to Johnny. And from that point forward, any royalties that was given to him from Johnny Cash's version of Hurt being performed was given back to the family. And so I've got mad respect for Trent Reznor. I got mad respect for Johnny Cash. If y'all really want, so I do this thing where I like to watch videos that make me do like happy cries. I like it. It makes me feel good. It releases that serotonin in my brain that I need. I don't need it all the time, but I do it. I'm human. All right. And one of my very favorites to go to is people reacting to Johnny Cash's Hurt. And you can feel in your bones that song was made for Johnny Cash. Like, I know people that hear Hurt and they don't think that they don't think it's a Nine Inch Nails song. They think it's a Johnny Cash song because it's like it was written for him. Do yourself a favor. If you're up late at night, watch live react to Johnny Cash's Hurt. And you'll feel the same thing I feel when I'm feeling down. That being said, let's get into it. This is our last ghost story, celebrity ghost story number 18, Johnny Cash. So Johnny Cash believed in ghosts the same way he believed in sorrow, and something that lingers. Cash lived in several properties he believed were haunted, often places tied to violence, war, or deep personal tragedy. He described unexplained footsteps, sounds in empty rooms, and the heaviness never fully lifted. But what set his account apart was tone. He didn't describe fear, he described sadness. Cash believed that the spirits he sensed weren't malicious. They weren't trying to scare anyone, they were trapped, caught in moments they couldn't escape. He once said you couldn't feel it in the silence, or you could feel it in the silence, in the spaces between sounds, in the weight of a room when nothing was happening. And that weight followed him, no matter where he lived. If true, his story suggests hauntings aren't always about terror. Sometimes they're about memory, about unfinished endings, and sometimes the dead don't stay because they want to be seen. They stay because they don't know how to leave. And I'm going to say that one's real. I'm going to say it's really paranormal. because it's Cash. It's Johnny Cash. I've said it a bunch of times tonight, but Johnny Cash wouldn't lie, would he? He shot a man in Reno. Just watch him die. All right, so we've made our way through 18 celebrity ghost stories tonight. I hope y'all enjoyed this. It was a hastily thrown together segment for tonight. I thought it was enjoyable. We had good conversation. We have pretty good numbers. You know, we've got 3 people watching on YouTube. What's going on YouTube? We got 5 people on Twitch watching tonight. Thanks everybody for being here. I'm glad you're all here. I'm glad you all came for these amazing celebrity ghost stories. I did my best to make it as engaging as possible. I hope you all enjoyed it. We have one tiny little paragraph to read. Let me hit you with the outro, and then we'll talk about it. So looking at these stories together, a pattern starts to form. Different people, different beliefs, different backgrounds, but the same experiences, presence, attachments.
Send you a file in your email. I'll make some fresh another time.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I will, as soon as I get done tonight, I'm going to check it out. I will hit you up. No rush. Attachments, familiar spirits, things that follow, things that wait. Whether you believe there are ghosts, memories, psychological imprints, or something we don't yet have a name for, one thing is clear. These people weren't chasing a story. The story found them. And I think that's true, because a lot of these stories were from celebrities and we never heard them before. And I think that says a lot about the validity of these stories, because when you deal with somebody who's unknown, you have to deal with the idea that maybe they're saying something or making up a story to try to become known. But when you've got somebody like a celebrity, like Adele, Johnny Cash...
Did I tell you my sister is a mildly famous paranormal investigator? She's rather famous as a haunted doll expert.
I had no idea. No, you had never mentioned that. Absolutely not. And now I'm interested. I'm very interested. Hashtag guest host in the future? Question mark?
Who are you calling a cootie queen, you lint liquor?
We'll talk about that. But when you have a celebrity who already has a following, already has people, millions and millions of people looking after you.
At Pokey Out Radio.
Right? When you're famous already, you don't need to make up a ghost story to make yourself more famous. So there were a few of these that we did say probably not paranormal, that somebody was fishing for likes or fishing for clicks, whatever. But I feel like 90% of these were legitimately paranormal. And it goes to show that this can happen to anybody. Anybody. There is no prejudice against somebody being famous or somebody being, 2 million followers on Instagram, whatever. That doesn't matter to the paranormal world. What matters is they want to be seen. So, that being said, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We had a very unorthodox episode tonight. If you liked what you heard, stick around. Next week we're probably going to do something with the crystal skulls, maybe. I don't know yet. We're gonna nail down something for the script for next week. Amani, we're gonna nail down something for a guest host on the show. That'd be awesome. I'd be really looking forward to that. Poke, I'm really looking forward to hearing your new song. We'll see what you're all about. See if we can get you in here. I'm gonna check that out as soon as we get done tonight. Worlds of Confusion, I'm so glad you're here. thank you for being here tonight. You were here from the beginning. You stuck around for the whole show. Very few people do that. We had 5 people watching almost all night on Twitch. We had 3 people watching on YouTube. What's going on YouTube, everybody? Hey. I'm glad every single one of you are here. I do my best to bring the most prevalent and most thorough paranormal investigations to every single one of you. So if you like what you hear, make sure you stick with us. We're probably going to do something with the crystal skulls next week. That sounds about right. If anybody feels like they have a personal paranormal story or something that they want to tell, if you've got a personal experience of something paranormal that's happened to you, or a story, or an idea for a future episode, feel free to reach out to me at beyondshadowspodcast@gmail.com, or you can scan this QR code right up here. It will give you a link to all the socials.
I know a bunch about the skulls. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm actually, we brought it up in the middle of the episode about Dan Aykroyd and Crystal Skull Vodka. I think that's what we're going to do next week. It sounds like it could be a really good episode. It would be a nice break from the pattern of ghosts, cryptic aliens. High strangeness is what I would categorize it as. But if anybody has an idea for a future episode, or comments, questions, or their own personal paranormal tales, feel free to reach out at beyondshadowspodcast@gmail.com, or scan this QR code up here. All the socials are up there. Thanks everybody for being here tonight. We have a little tiny closing monologue, and we're gonna get the hell out of here. I've got to work in the morning, and I've got a pint of ice cream calling my name. So thank you everybody for being here tonight. Thank you for being here. Y'all are making season 3 to be something amazing. We're doing this, folks. We're doing this. We're getting close to our 200th episode. We're getting very, very close. Our 200th episode. We're getting close. So, with that being said, geez, should I guess that, I really ought to raid somebody. I ought to. I don't usually have this many people in chat. Let me see if there's anybody worth raiding. Yeah, we will raid Jim Russell.
Waltering is great.
Waltering? I don't know Waltering. I will look. Currently streaming art. Is that them? Is that they? I've got nothing wrong with rating somebody I don't know. I just want to make sure I'm rating the right one. Waltering, W-O-L-T-E-R-I-N-G.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll rate them. But before we go, we do have a little bit of closing monologue to read. Thanks again, everybody, for being here tonight. I hope y'all have a wonderful week. I'll see y'all here next weekend. But before we go, we'd like to believe that fame protects you, that money buys distance from the unknown, that power keeps the dark at arm's length. But if there's one thing that these stories suggest, it's this. Whatever these things are, they don't care who you are. They don't care what you own. They don't care how many people know your name. They show up quietly. They stay as long as they want, and sometimes they follow. And no matter how famous you are, when the lights go out, you're just another person in a dark room, wondering if you're really alone. And no matter what you do, if you find yourself in a giant mansion with an indoor and outdoor pool, 21,000 square feet. And you hear footsteps, and you're alone. Don't panic. Open your mind. But whatever you do, make sure you follow us beyond the shadows. We're gonna raid. Get out of here. I'll see y'all, everybody.
A creature like that, how would it ever die?
And this monster starts running right at me.
Annihilated by nuclear bombs.
Beast is not dead. I put 4 bullets into him.
Oh, you're crazy.
But I saw that monster too. All I want is for someone to believe me.
Contaminated.
Face. Horrible. Looked like it would scare you to death.
All right, let's get to work.
Beyond the shadows.